Alright everybody, today we're going to talk about what to do on the other side of the street, the one opposite your buildings. We're still going to use one-point perspective a little bit, but it's going to be slightly different. We're not going to be making buildings anymore. You're going to be adding, like in this case, there's trees. You could add light posts or a fence. Another kind of fence that you could put in, or bushes. Still generally follows the rules of one-point perspective, but it's a little bit easier, especially if you do something, some sort of plant. I think it's a lot easier. If you start doing the fences, you still have to follow the rules of making it vertical and going to the vanishing point and having horizontal on top and bottom. So I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to do trees on one side, and I will do something easier, maybe bushes or flowers or something like that. So this is just a basic sidewalk and road. Let's do trees first. I'll do trees on this side. Now, if you're going to do something tall like trees or light posts or signs or something like that, then they're pretty tall, so you're gonna have it go above your horizon line. Like this one, you can see that the line that I used is actually above the horizon line because these things are tall. So I'm gonna draw one, let's say about right there. Try to keep it light because you know that you're gonna erase this. Okay, just save yourself some work. So, to make trees, I'll put another one, a really light one, sort of showing where the bottom of the trunk is going to be. You could just use your sidewalk, but this, I think, makes it easier. And I actually start with the leaves first, okay? And then I put the trunks on afterwards. So this line is going to basically be the top of your trees. It doesn't have to be exact, that's why it's a little bit easier, but in general you need to kind of follow this line as they get smaller and smaller. So I'm just going to start with my first one, and it goes off the edge of my paper. Okay, I'm going to erase that stuff later. I'm going to do some overlapping for my next one. Going to generally follow this line. And the bottom kind of has to too, but I didn't make the line for that. I'm just sort of guessing. Okay. Okay, so it looks like treetops going back. Now, making the trunk, you want this to be vertical, otherwise it's going to look like your tree is leaning. Same way the buildings lean if you don't make it vertical. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not going to actually use my ruler, but in general you can still see that the shape that's being made here is a rectangle. Okay, so I'm always kind of comparing it to the edge of my paper. And so, just making a trunk, and you want your trunk to come down to this line, okay? Okay, and I just move over to the next one, keeping it vertical. I'm going to come down to this line. Okay. I need to spend some time erasing. Okay, so that's an example of trees. Maybe I'll try flowers on this side. So again, I'm going to kind of make a very light line to show where the bottom of the flowers are planted, and then the top. Okay, so since flowers are a lot shorter than trees, it went below the horizon line, pretty close to the edge of my paper. Okay, for tall stuff it's like that. So, same idea, you want it to be vertical, so sometimes you can just put in some lines to sort of decide where your flowers are going to go. Okay, something like that just sort of helps me space them out correctly. And I'm just going to do, I don't know what kind of flowers, but this is the bottom. Start to make them smaller as they get farther away. So there's flowers going back, and if you wanted to make it some sort of a, I guess, dirt that they're in, you'd sort of want to follow the rules of 1 point, kind of make it go back. So it's following your sidewalk. Something like that. Okay, and then on this side, you're free to do whatever you want. You can make it a desert, or you can add a lake or a swimming pool. Nature things like lakes and things like that will be easier because you don't necessarily have to follow the rules of 1 point. If you decide to put other buildings or things that have shapes like a basketball court or something like that, you do kind of have to follow the rules of 1 point perspective, so you can ask me about that. But I'm just going to draw maybe kind of a simple lake. Just like that. If you wanted to add mountains, you certainly can add them. Pretty simple. So have fun with this side. This is your chance to be creative and kind of make it the world, whatever kind of world you want it to be.